This is where so many cafe businesses get it wrong. Too often we start by asking questions like, how do I go viral on social media? Or what sort of promotion should I run to get them lining up down the street? Now, by jumping straight to tactics before you've got a strategy, more often than not, you're just going to burn money and waste time. It's a bit like playing darts blindfolded. You might hit something occasionally, but it probably won't end well. That's because a proper marketing strategy is the secret sauce that makes everything else work. It brings together all of our tactics from social media, signage, promos, and turns them into a clear, consistent message that's relevant to specific customers we're targeting. So today I'll take you through the process I use to put together a marketing strategy for my own business. And I'll show you how getting it right can be the difference between success and failure. First, we need to start by asking a simple question. Who is this business for? Now, you've heard it said, you can't be all things to all people. And it's true. If you try to offer everything and please everyone, you're never going to be number one in any specific area. You'll always be second or third choice, if at all. Consider a typical Main Street cafe situation. You've got a row of shops with a group of cafes, restaurants, or coffee shops that customers can choose from. Now, you'll find a younger crowd at the trendy place with cool industrial design, specialty coffees, and expensive pastries. And there's an older crowd at the homey, no-nonsense cafe serving extra hot coffees and big, reasonably priced meals. And there's also a place serving high-protein, low-carb options that's popular with the fitness and healthy lifestyle crowd. Now, this is oversimplified, of course, but the point is this. If you start by identifying specific groups of customers and finding out what they want, you've got a much higher chance of being their number one. So how do we do that? Well, this is the method I use to build a marketing plan for my own cafe, and it's the one that I keep coming back to because it works. Now, it's based around breaking things down into three simple categories: customers, occasions, and needs. Now, it might sound basic, but when you take the time to go through this step by step, you end up with a much clearer picture of the local market. And rather than talking in vague, general stereotypes, you define real segments of people, understand when they visit, and what they're looking for in that moment. So to show you what I mean, let me walk you through a few examples from the business plan I put together when we opened our cafe. So we were located in a shopping centre close to high-end fashion retailers, department stores, and an Apple store. Now, the first group we identified were retail staff from nearby shops, places like department stores and fashion boutiques. Most of them were in their 20s or 30s, and their cafe visits happened either on the way to work in the morning or during their morning break, usually sometime between 8 a.m. and midday. What they needed was fast, efficient service because a lot of them only had a 10-minute break in their shift. And then we had a second group, people running errands. A lot of them were coming to the Apple store for a repair or a lesson or, pick something up. Now, these customers were a bit more varied in age, but they quite often came in pairs, maybe a couple or two friends. They weren't there every day, but when they came, they were usually in the middle of a busy day and looking for a quick break. So once again, fast service was important, but they were also there to treat themselves, so coffee quality really mattered. And finally, there was the third group, the shopping break crew. Now, this was often men who'd been dragged out shopping by their partner and just were looking for somewhere to escape for a bit. Now, these guys weren't in a rush, but they did want a quiet spot to sit, ideally with something to read while they waited. Now, each group had different needs and different moments that brought them in. And once we understood that, we could start making better decisions about how to serve them. Now, there are plenty more customer segments we won't go through now. Some share similar occasions and needs, but others have completely different priorities. Now, the goal here is just to get an overview of the whole market in your specific location and then make some decisions. Which segments are we going to target? And which segments are we not going to target? And that clarity helps shape everything from your menu to your marketing. And once you know who you're targeting, what they want, and what you want to be known for, the rest of your marketing becomes a whole lot easier. So what do we actually do with all this? Well, once you know who your customers are and what they care about, it's time to shape your cafe around them. It's about designing a business that fits your customers and their needs so well, it almost feels like it was made exactly for them. So let's start with the most obvious question. What products are you going to offer? If your crowd is on the way to work, then quick, high-quality grab-and-go items are key. But if you're based in, say, a garden centre, then you're more likely going to be targeting families and retirees. So the focus could be covering a variety of dietary needs, like gluten-free and maybe something for the kids. Now, the trick with a menu is you can't sell everything. The more dishes and ingredients you add, the more your costs and waste go up. service slows down, and importantly, it becomes harder for your customers to figure out what you're actually all about. Instead of a clear identity, you end up as just another generic cafe. So next, think about how customers actually interact with your business. Is it going to be full service, counter service, or something in between? Are you going to offer mobile ordering or self-service kiosks? Think about the rhythm of your customer's day. A 10-minute break doesn't work with full table service setup, but for a lazy weekend brunch, then restaurant-style table service might be a better fit. Then there's your physical space, how it looks, how it feels, and how it functions. So individual seats are good for workers on short breaks, two-seater tables for couples, comfy lounges or window seating maybe for those who want to linger a bit longer. Now it seems pedantic, but will I be able to get a table can be a real deal breaker when deciding where to go for coffee. So understanding occasion helps to make sure you've got the right mix. Now finally, there are all the little things that make the experience just feel right. Now these can be anything from opening hours, loyalty programs, to a bench to wait while you're picking up takeaway. Little things can go a long way. So a cafe near me is close to a popular bike track, so they put some dedicated bike parking right out the front. Some cafes are targeting people walking dogs, so they have dog treats and puppy parking. And how about an example outside the coffee industry? So Amazon famously built their entire business model around what they call customer obsession. So from the start, they designed every part of their experience around convenience, fast delivery, easy returns, personalized recommendations, and a frictionless checkout process. And they didn't just guess what people wanted, they studied behaviors and they built systems to serve those needs better than anyone else. Now, coffee shops are certainly not global tech giants, but the principle is exactly the same. You start with the customer and you work backwards. Now, at this point, you might be thinking, what's all this got to do with marketing? We haven't even talked about ads, social media, or loyalty programs. But that's kind of the point. All of those things, your Instagram posts, your paid ads, Google reviews, they're just the tip of the iceberg. The foundation is everything we've covered so far: who your customers are, what they need, and how your business is designed to serve them. And here's the surprising thing. If you get the offer right, if your product, your service, and the experience is spot on, then sometimes you barely even need to promote at all. And that's the magic of good strategy. When you focus on the fundamentals, promotion becomes easier, cheaper, and way more effective. Now, if you need more specific ideas and tactics you can use to promote a cafe or a coffee shop, then you should check out this video next.